Well, welcome to Carrington. Welcome to Simon Wilson. Simon, I've got to say it's been a wonderful season. It's culminated in our first Football League title in over 50 years. You've had a little bit of time, I think, to reflect on it now. How proud are you of this achievement?
Yeah, I don't think you really take it in the moment. You know, so when we won the game up at Notts, it was an amazing feeling, but we sort of felt it was coming a little bit, and so you didn't have that release. But when we saw the amount of fans and supporters that came out on the Sunday to the parade, and then, you know, after packing out the ground for the last game of the season to see us lift the trophy forward to Wrexham and then come out again to do the same thing, I just thought, well, this is something special. And when you look we were on top of the bus looking out, and you see 6-year-olds, 60-year-olds, male, female, everybody sort of engaged, and yeah, that made us feel really proud that collectively we've done something that's made a lot of people feel happy this summer.
When you guys came in, it was a 7-year plan to get to the Championship. Mark he's gone to great lengths actually to make it clear that you wrote that plan. It's your plan. Do you think you might need a new one soon?
There's two things, isn't there? You know, anyone can write a plan. A plan's a plan, isn't it? Delivering the plan is something else. Yeah. And I think that we have to look across the whole organisation and the supporters in terms of collectively we have done half of the plan so far. We're in the middle of the plan, and the steps from here get harder, no doubt about it. There's more competition also capable of making those steps. But it's a great challenge, and we really want to take that on, and you know, I really hope that there is a new plan at some point being written, but let's deliver the first one first.
I said something to Mark the other week, and I don't know if you agree with this, but I did feel that having got to know you better and obviously got to know Charlie very well, you're actually quite similar. Your ethos, your outlook, your attitude to football, the modern approach that you both take, you're very much in alignment, aren't you? Is that a fair comment? I
think so. I think we're both, we've got some similar traits. I think we're both analytical. I think quick decision makers but both driven. I really admire Dave. I think, you know, I've met a lot of people in football as you have, I'm sure, but you know, I haven't met many that have won as much as he's won and being as humble as he is. I think that's really unique, and I think that's really special. I think it keeps him hungry, and I think he's openly trying to improve and is aware of areas he needs to improve or wants to improve, and I think that's only going to lead to better things for us. So we've got a really good working relationship. You know, we don't see the world in the same way all the time. That's good, but we have to say on the majority of the big calls we're nearly always in the same place, so makes for an easier way of working.
I know it's not for you, I know it's not about vindication, but when I think back to when you and I first started doing these interviews, and I know you don't do social media particularly, but I do, and you were getting a bit of stick early doors, and it was quite difficult to read some of those comments. Do you feel vindicated now that you come out the other side?
Not necessarily, as you rightly so. I don't really read any social media. It's not been something that I've felt has been important for me to do. That said, I was aware of criticism, and for me, I totally understood in the fact that this is a club that people are extremely passionate about, and they want to see someone mess with it, and they want, until they trust you in terms of they feel like you get them on what you're trying to do, and they see you as one of them that's trying to help. And I knew that there had to be a period of time where I had to sort of earn that trust, rightly so. And I don't, just because we've won a couple of things, I don't think, you know, I have to continue to keep their trust. And, you know, hopefully we keep making good decisions. We won't always make the right decision, or we might make the right decision, we might not get the right outcome. It's just that's the way it goes. This is football. So I expect there to be more criticism, rightly so, in the future. Don't expect slaps on the back just because we've done what we've done so far. But it's probably an easier place to take your daughter for a coffee and not think that you might get one thrown in your face. So at the moment, so that's okay.
You're obviously in a phase now, Simon, of recruitment, but recruitment by definition means players have to leave to create those gaps. And what can you say about the contribution of some of those players? I mean, a lot of them obviously double champions. Players such as Anthony Sarcevic, Ryan Crosdale, Neil Byrne, Connor Evans, Miles Hippolyte, and of course Paddy Madden, who left a couple of weeks ago as well. What can you say about the contribution of those lads?
I have to, first and foremost, the contribution has been enormous on the pitch and off the pitch, and they've been really, really good for us. I think we've hopefully been good for them as well. I think we've been a great platform for some of those players that maybe hadn't had the benefit of the type of environment that we've got here, and have seen themselves go to a new level. And also the opportunity to go and play in special games at Edgeley Park, in big games, big matches, which will be memories that they've got for the rest of their lives. I want to say a big, huge public thank you to everybody that was part of the squad last year. Obviously, sad to see some of them leave. Obviously, we tried to retain, a few of them, and opportunities presented themselves that they felt their careers were better off taking their next step elsewhere, which we're totally fine with. I think we all got to a really good position at the end of the season where everyone felt like the job that we promised each other, both sides had delivered on it, and we all shook hands and wished each other the best for the next chapter of whatever that is.
It almost feels like part of going back to that 7-year plan, because I think the plan was always to get to this level and then go younger. I think the average age last season was something in the region of 28. You've given 3-year deals to the likes of Tanto, to Ethan Pye, Ryan Rydell as well. There seems to be a shift. Is that fair? Yeah,
it's completely fair and completely right. We are definitely going younger. There's practical reasons for that. It might take us some time to take the next step. We don't want it to. John and I'd like to win the league next year, and we'll all be trying to do that. And maybe we will. But the more, if you look at the case studies, the benchmarks, normally it takes sides a bit more time to make the step to the Championship. And ultimately, if players are over 30, 32, 33, 34, you're going to lose some continuity along the way in that. So you either make the choice to delay that and maybe do it a little bit later, or you do it now. Also, in terms of sustainability, which is not something that's particularly sexy to listen and to hear about, but young players, once you get League 1 minutes into the young players, have significantly more value than they have done in the previous leagues, and I think there's opportunities for us to go and take young players on their next step of their journey. Hopefully they're our own more often than not, but if they're coming from outside, those two, and have a really good shot at building a good team. But if we don't quite get there, the club's in a healthy position with young assets in the building that might be able to help fund a further improvement at a later stage. So it's a very conscious decision. This team that we're putting together, when we look at it on paper, we're extremely excited about. It could be anything. We have to say that it could be anything next year, but it's going to be a development of changing the team a little bit, introducing some new players to the group. If that gels quickly, we could be something really exciting in the league next year. But we're also mindful that it might take some time. So we have to be realistic with expectations. But I think it's going to be an exciting season at Edgeley Park next year, because genuinely anything could happen.
There is one exception, of course, to that young demographic, and that's between the sticks. Ben Hinchliffe, who Mark Stott said, I don't care what anybody else says, he's getting a 2-year deal. Now, whether that's tongue-in-cheek or not, I don't know. I'm assuming it's a deal that you were fully endorsing.
No, of course. I think. Listen, there's different parts to this. Is we probably see Ben as somebody that has got a county future off the pitch as well as on the pitch, and Ben's also been someone that's been quite, he's had to take 1-year deals in the last 3 contracts we've done with him, as 3 separate 1-year deals, not on the best money in the group, but has been one of the best performers in the group. I think there's an opportunity for some level of reward for Ben. At the same time, I think we've been hit over the head with the word culture in the past, but it's important to us, and the people that do the job for us and sacrifice themselves for the club should be rewarded, and that was sort of our thinking around Ben this summer.
You moved very early to bring the 2 lads in from Colchester, Jay Mingy, Jayden Fevrier. What kind of qualities are they going to bring, do you think?
Really impressive young people. and different in different ways. Both very athletic, very powerful, and the more we studied and asked questions about what are the demands of the next level and levels above, we know that athleticism is certainly one part of it, which has to be a minimum standard. Jayden is a really front-footed, risk-taking wide player that we think could play more central too. We think he'll get people off their seats. We wanted to sign 2 wingers last year. We signed one. Everyone knows about that. We brought the other side in this year, hoping that we get that balance by the end of the end of the transfer window, and it gives Dave, a load of really nice options to pick a team, to change a team, to go and cause opposition all sorts of problems. Jay is again another versatile player, super athletic, has the ability to travel with a ball, has the ability to make very quick recovery runs. The way we press, where we sometimes will ask our team to be man for man, he's going to be an exceptional player to help us sustain attacks and manage counter attacks from the other side. So we've got high hopes for them too, and we are very, very active with a number of other players. I don't know when this goes out, but we are making signings, and certainly you'll see a similarity in terms of the profile of the players that we're going after, and I think we'll have a really interesting team next year.
We can't talk about Louis Barry today. He's not our player, but just more generally, Simon, if you don't mind, can you just talk maybe about the loan market and what promotion does in terms of, again, the profile of player that you can attract now, having gone up to League One?
Yeah, I mean, we've been active in the loan market sort of always, and we see the opportunity. What the loan market gives you is the potential to access a player that has very special qualities that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to get to the market. What they don't have is experience, and from time to time, I think we'll have all seen that from every player that we've brought in, whether it's Will Fish, Arjan Reiki, Louis Barry, Alfie Pond, all of them, Vít Jaros. You're looking at players that have significantly kicked on, a lot of them, from this point forward. We might not have seen their absolute best. In some cases we did, some cases we didn't in their time there. That's what you get with the loan market, is it can be hit and miss. League One naturally attracts the better of the younger players at the top clubs, because they want to take their first step at the highest possible league. League One's a little bit more of a cleaner league. I don't mean that in terms of tackles and yellow cards and stuff, but in terms of the tactical side of things and the way that the football's played. So the top Premier League clubs trust League One a little bit more than they trust League Two, and it's a little bit more attractive to the players themselves as well. So we will certainly be able to see really, really interesting loan opportunities. And
your contacts must help with that as well.
But everyone's contacts. I mean, an 18-year-old at Chelsea or Man City or Man United or Liverpool's not going to care about Simon Wilson. So I think they're going to see it as I want to go and play in a great stadium, in a good team, do well for myself. And ultimately, again, these clubs aren't going to do us special deals just because I've got relationships with them. But at the same time, what we're trying to do is create an amazing football club that's really attractive to clubs to loan to, players to come to. But more to the point, John, we want our own young players. We don't want to block our pathway with developing other people's players unless they're going to go and put 3 points on the table for us. All the development's got to be our players. Look, if a very special player can come in and help us for a period of time and give us something that we can't get in the market ourselves or develop ourselves yet, great. But I'm certainly not going to build the whole plan on loan players.
But just on that then, so how does promotion affect the academy now? It's a Cat 3 academy. It's a benchmark. It's a real shining light for us. But actually, is there a genuine pathway to the first team for players from the academy? Because that's the aim, isn't it? You want to develop your own.
No, there definitely is a genuine pathway for the players. That's why you have an academy if you're not going to have a pathway. There absolutely is. We've had one since day one. So whether it was Jack Hinchy, Cody Johnson, obviously Ethan Pye came in a slightly different route, but we've consciously, and we meet every month talking about where all our players are, whether they're a first team player, they're an under 16 player, where are they and what's their next step. So we're constantly working on that. the holy grail for the football club is to go and have 11 players in the first team, all homegrown, doing really, really well. That's the holy grail. No, it's not realistic, but we want to get as many through as possible. And I think the issue with academies is when your first team gets too good, that the jump from being an 18-year-old in the under 18s to your first team is too big. And sometimes that's why teams bring in under 21s teams and stuff. We're consciously not bringing in an under 21s team, because you want to, if they're good enough at 18, they should be in our first team.
Okay.
We're bringing the academy up to Carrington this year. The under 18s will train on the pitch right next to the first team. What that is if a player goes down injured or can't train because they're on a recovery day or whatever, it means Dave can top up with an under 18 player. He might just see something in that player that goes, you know what, coming with us now. Or we might see something that says, right, you're nearly there, but we really noticed that in the training session when we measure you up against the first team, you're missing this. That's your development plan for the next period of time. So, we are making really progressive steps with our academy. It's now, we have to make sure that the players are coming in that are good enough and that they're getting coached on the right things, and we're giving them enough time and patience to come through. But I'm sure we will.
Are you expecting many more additions over the summer now, Sam? Because obviously, I think last season, the size of the squad and the loan market and the academy all kind of helped to cover the injuries, and we all know how many injuries we had last season. We are going to get Stretz back, and Ryan Rydell and Macca hopefully is going to play a big part as well this season. But in terms of additions, is it possible to put a number on how many more players you think you need?
Yeah, I think we we're active right now, and I don't know when this is going to go out. So we will be working with a squad of 20 senior players next year. On top of that, we'll have at least 4 emerging talents, what we call as players that are on the cusp of our first team, may train with the first team, but will go out on loan. The same route that Ethan and Cody have gone through, we'll continue to do. It's going to be a big year for sort of like an Ashton Mee this year, with his next step, which will be a loan step. So he would come into that category, and but yeah, it's a group of 20 players, and we also haven't yet had any offers for our players, which we are anticipating as the market progresses. So there will be potentially some more movement from where we are today.
Yeah, I should mention Will Collar as well. Obviously, he's been out for a long period, so there's a lot of players to come back in yet.
Yeah.
Look, we know football is ruthless, it's relentless, and everyone's now looking for what's the next step for Stockport County. And speaking to Mark the other week, he was quite honest. He said, look, we've had a top 3 budget all this time. It's going to be a top 10 budget in terms of League One, but he still wants a top 7 finish. Yeah. What do you think success is going to look like next season?
We've been talking about that since sort of the last weeks of the season last year and through the summer, in terms of like, that's a really great professional challenge to overperform. Okay, so if we had a top 3 budget last year and we finished first, we overperformed by 2 places. So if we're in a top 10 budget and we want to finish 7th, we've got to finish or top 6, we've got to overperform by 4 places. But it's a really great professional challenge for us, and then we're looking at everything we do to say, well, okay, how can we close the gap in medical, sports science, performance analysis, coaching, operations, contracts, renegotiations, all that sort of stuff is like, that gives us all objectives to go after. And it's very clear in terms of like, okay, if we do that, that's what the reward's going to go and be. We're in this phase is we're very much in the unknown, because it will be, I would say 50% of the squad will be new this year.
Yeah.
And we're hoping that the recruitment's right. We're hoping they settle down quickly. We're hoping that we find a way that the combinations of players that look good on paper actually come good on the pitch. So there's a little bit of that needs to go through. But I'm absolutely sure once we get that right, we're going to be a real threat in the league. And like I said, I genuinely think anything could happen this year.
Just finally, I know just from talking to fans how excited they are for next season. You can see that in record season ticket sales, sold out actually of season tickets now, I believe. Ground redevelopment plans got to sort of 18,000, which is phenomenal. After another promotion, the team, as you say, it looks fresh, it looks hungry. And do you have to keep a lid on it at all? Are we getting a little bit too carried away or not?
I think as long as people can continue to enjoy the journey, I think we don't need to have expectations, I don't think, of either where we need to be, where we should be. I think we should just roll with it and see what happens this year. I think that, like I said, why put a lid on things? Why put a lid on what Dave Chandler, who's not yet managed in League One, or Ben Hinchliffe, who's not played in League One for a long time, or Ethan Pyatt? Why put a lid on what they can do? Why put a lid on some of the players that are coming in terms of, okay, new club, we probably need to expectation. Why not let them sort of blow the roof off in the first 6 months? Let's see what it all happens. We've certainly, what we're creating is a lot of potential, a lot of future possibilities, and it's going to come down to us collectively. And I always include the supporters in this, because the environment that they create on a match day is massively important, and we've got such a special environment. We continue to do that, and we'll continue to work collectively again. Like, let's see what can happen. If it takes a bit of time, if what I think it will be is a more dramatic season. We might have some big wins, big losses. We might have some, but not to lose the faith, and look forward to the next thing. And this is going to be a team and a club that continues to grow, and we want everyone part of that.
Brilliant. It's a great way to end. Well done. Thank you very much.
John.
Appreciate it. Cheers, Simon.